Vibe is alive on BPM.
Hi and welcome to another edition of BPM. This week we're at the Leisure Lounge in Holborn, which boasts three of the capital's best club nights. My own Peach Night is here on a Friday, Saturday night sees their own Leisure Lounge night, and Sundays boast Sunny Side Up. With us on the show this week is Saffron from Republica. Hi.
Hi, Graham. Well, the Leisure Lounge celebrated its first birthday over Easter, and tonight is the backdrop for the following features.
Yes, on tonight's show we say wham bam, thank you Westbam. It's tough stuff from Techno Girl's Chelsea Grin and the jungle journeys of Jumping Jack Frost. And we review that new dance mag, Muzik.
But before all that, we make a return visit to Roseberrys in Hackney, where the Rampage crew are in full swing.
So still I blind. All the crew. More than enough. Too much. Pressure is force. Who's the boss? Original. In everything I do, especially when I'm doing it to you. Perfect. Lines every time. I say a rhyme. Won't do a
Send this one out to the finesse crew inside. Big up your stage,
no bottom parallel, the top shelf. Chemically combined. Full of exposure. Not the one that owes you, but the one that told you.
Experience.
Is the ticket. You gotta have it. So get with it. I'm not thinking for real. To me, there's one way to deal. Clockwise. With no alibis. Nothing witty is here. I'm making it clear. I'm saying too much on peak.
Oh my God.
I won't tie off.
What?
Forget about the record. I'm going to go scale out.
Come on now. Oh.
You've been praying, saying you want more. The sound is hype, and we're sure that you feel real good when you're part of a kid and play adventure. I think it's time to make the floor burn. What I'm saying is, it's your turn to do things you've always wanted to. Here's the jam for kid and play to you. Listen up to what I'm saying here, work it out. Oh, you ain't staying here. Troopers and troopers should know this.
Come on now.
Listen close, don't blow this chance to get next to the opposite set. It means if you ain't down, use the exit, just like Brutus.
Come on.
On the strip, y'all.
We can do this.
My way.
Hey. What's the ride?
Party people! Yeah! Tag team music in full effect. That's me, DC, the brain supreme. And my man Steve Rowland.
Now the massive inside.
And it goes a little something like this.
Tag team.
Back again. Check it, record, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, rejoice. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands.
Throw your hands in the air. Come on now.
These three words when you get.
What we do is that?
Ready,
What?
man.
Come on.
Dub War hail from Newport in South Wales, where Men Are Men, Sheep Are Nervous and Max Boyce still reigns. Their uncompromising sound thrashes out a real hardcore beat and compromises of ragga, thrash and punk. Their new single is called Strike It, and we really liked it, so on BPM, it's our video of the week.
Then I told the girls with a lot of body inside. Swing beat crew.
Yo, that's a lot of body, just the kind of body that you read about at a party. It's the kind of fame it makes me go insane. It's the all-time high of ultimate Dane. A figure eight, Yes, the top rate, baddest thing I've seen to this day. Mean, a party fiend, what's the big gene?
Ladies,
Go ahead, man.
come on.
Hey, yo, Ratty, do you see what I see? She's got body, nothing make to see. I'm down when she's just everywhere. Makes big bodies come from everywhere. Please don't mind me, stop and stare. I'm just looking at your thighs unfair. Don't think I'm just a birthday type. I'm just never seen a body that looks so right. That's a lot about it, she's got a lot about it. That's a lot about it. That's a lot about it, she's got a lot about it. That's a lot about it, she's got a lot about it. That's a lot about it. That's a lot about it, she's got a lot about it. Yeah, I know I'm just a little too blind. You are on sort of a party. Losing friends on the neighborhood.
Inside.
We find one, yeah, I knew that we would.
All about it.
Please don't mind me. Stop and stare. I'm just looking at your side, butterfly. I'm just a birthday type. I've just never seen a body that looks so right.
Come on.
That's a lot about it, she's got a lot about it. That's a lot about it. That's a lot about it, she's got a lot about it.
Turn out to the girls inside.
That's a lot about it, she's got a lot about it. That's a lot about it. That's a lot about it, she's got a lot about it.
You blow my mind.
Female duo Chelsea Grin broke away from the clutches of DJs like Andrew Weatherall and Terry Farley to prove that women can cut up techno too. Football as well seems to be a passion for the girls, so we're better to meet them than their local training ground. I've been DJing in London for sort of 3 years on the techno scene, and we met sort of through a club that I was DJing in actually, and Anna's been sort of singing and been about the scene for quite a long time.
I used to sing with a band called Boca Juniors, which is like with Andrew Weatherall and Terry Farley, and then after that I did a bit of singing with Ploughed Up, did a tour with them and everything.
We both had a common interest. We wanted to make our own music. Doing it on your own can be a bit intimidating because there's not a lot of girls doing techno in the first place, and sort of start a bit stronger, like two of us getting together and doing it. We sort of went round with recording equipment and recorded some sounds that we thought were really good, rather than just going in and sampling bits off records and using them again, which people seem to do over and over again. We sort of put a bit more thought and time into what we were doing to try and get something a wee bit different, because I mean, there's so much techno being made and it all seems to follow the same formula, and it's quite easy in a way because a lot of it's just sampled, and we wanted to do something that was different with a bit more thought in it. I think as far as making it goes, I mean, for instance, we wouldn't be interviewed now probably if we were two blokes that had made a techno record. You know, the only reason that we're getting attention is because we're two girls that have made techno. And with a lot of people have been very good to us. You know, they're like sort of like, oh yeah, you know, this is quite novel in a way, but it's really silly because the whole situation in the country at the moment is just putting too much emphasis on who is making the music or who's spinning it, instead of people actually listening to what's being made.
Just because we're girls, like, making techno, I think it's quite funny that, I mean, that, you know, everyone, sort of, the male population obviously see it as some kind of, you know, some sort of threat or something. Yeah. You know, I mean, are they so insecure that it's just like, just because we're making music? what we want to do.
Yeah, we didn't go out sort of like, yeah, let's show them like we're two girls and we can do it. It's like we both just wanted to make music and
Yeah,
they
and
can't really see what the difference is between two girls doing it and two blokes doing it.
Yeah, loads of men have like obviously made absolutely excellent records, you know, the best records in the world. But I mean, you know, not saying, oh yeah, because they're men, they're going to do it better. We just, you know, we just thought, yeah, we'll have a go at that. You know, we can do that. So we went and did it. When people think, yeah, it's two girls, you know, making records, and they immediately think it's going to be some sort of housey, garagey sort of thing, you know, and when they realise it's really dark, moody techno, you know, really hard and banging, and it's, you know, and they think about what the name is, then, I mean, in a way,
it kind of goes against everyone's preconceptions of what two girls should be doing in the studio.
So in a way, I suppose it is quite anarchic, yeah.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance, so back on up.
Before I have to pull the strap off the cut,
Give me the microphone first so I can bust like a bubble. Compton and Long Beach together.
Let me hear you say it.
Cause ain't nothing but a G-bag. Two loped out G's, so that row is the label that pays me. Unfaithful.
And ladies, you sound wicked.
But back to the lecture at hand. Perfection is perfected, so I'ma let them understand. From a young
Send a big shout to all the ladies on the left-hand side. Oh my God.
You never know, she could be earning her man and learning her man.
Come on.
And at the same time burning her man. Now when she burning, I'ma chill for a minute. Cause ain't no loving good enough to get burned while I'm offended. Yeah. And that's realer than real deal, Holyfield. And now you hookers and hoes know how I feel. Well, if it's good enough to get off a proper chunk, I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. It's like this and like that and like this and it's like that and like this and like that and it's like this and like that and like this and
Just an opinion on their first issue.
The reason why we launched Muzik is something we've been working on for about 2 years, and I just feel the dance industry has grown so big that we kind of felt that a magazine that was telling a bit of truth needed to be out there, because the kind of existing titles didn't really kind of tell it how it was.
Muzik did originally develop out of the Orbit section at Melody Maker, which Ben and myself both worked on. But from that, we've kind of really kind of developed way beyond what you can do over 2 pages in a weekly rock paper.
A lot of people have been drawn from the existing Melody Maker and NME, where, you know, writing style is generally a bit more highbrow than other kind of magazines. I don't know if it's so much a new style, but I just feel that dance music hasn't really been written about in a critical way, in a more serious kind of, on a more serious level. And I feel that's where we kind of come in. People have always criticised dance for being very anonymous, but it's something I completely disagree with and always have done from day one. I feel there's more personalities in dance music than there are in rock music, you know. And I mean, look at the cover we have Dust Brothers on the cover, and there's other names out there there's certain sections in the magazine, like a section called Hang the DJ, where basically each month we hang a DJ who's done something wrong. Doesn't mean to say we don't like them, it just means they've made a bad record. You know, we hung Ashley Beadle in the first issue, and you know, we love Ashley Beadle, but he made a very bad record. And I think readers kind of like that, and it's got a bit of attitude, and it just kind of talks to the readers on their level a bit more, rather than sort of patronising them, which we feel a lot of other people do.
Overall, I think it's pretty comprehensive, but it's actually very, very serious at the first look. It's packed with stuff, lots of little bits and pieces, an extensive club guide, 3 lead features, and lots of reviews in every sort of section, from house to techno, garage, jungle, hip-hop, ambient and soul. But my first impression is that it's very, very serious, and dance music isn't really a serious thing, and it is quite sort of po-faced about it all.
I think trying to do things like going out to do reviews of DJ sets is something that no other magazine has tried to do. It's almost like trying to review them in the same way that you might try and review a rock band or any kind of live band, so that you actually go there and talk about the way that the DJ takes the set up and down, how the way he works the crowds, how he drops certain tracks, what works and what doesn't work. And I think that people are interested to know this kind of thing.
I thought it was quite interesting though, I don't know if it's been done before, but I've never seen it done before, reviewing DJs, like they review gigs, like Armand Van Helden at the Hacienda or whatever, which I just thought, you don't normally see that sort of thing, you just hear that, you know, he was wicked there or whatever, but actually a review giving you an idea of what sort of music people are playing. I thought that was quite a good feature. I personally found a lot of the main features in it I'd seen covered in other magazines fairly recently, so there wasn't anything there which really I thought I've got to read about Juan Atkins or whatever, but I thought some of the little bits in the beginning and the end weren't bad, and it wasn't as reverential as some of the other dance music presses.
I think it will be around because it's got a very good cover price, it's going to be TV advertising, it's got a huge publishing company behind it.
The idea of music was to be a very broad and open-minded magazine, and I think that's what a lot of people have picked up on. Everyone has said it's a really fair balance. You know, you've got the clubs like Hard Times, which are like mass clubs. You've got your underground labels, everything. I mean, everything's in there, and I think dance music has just opened up a lot more, and people have opened up a lot more, and people don't just listen to techno, they don't just listen to house, they don't just listen to jungle. Everyone seems to listen to a bit of everything now, and the magazine reflects that.
Robotic kicking flab, or flavor bit of batter, chitter chatter, matter than the mad hat. I make you buy shit, come by fatter, got the data, turn your body into antimatter. And just like a piece of sizzling, you'll fit inside my stomach with the eggs and grits between. Come on now. The king is what I mean, my man, get a cup and put some change inside your hand. Alright. Now hold up, let's make this official. Come on. Everybody disagrees that MCs need a tissue. Hey! The folks my only issue. I bet your mama miss you, and I bet the Mac that go off like an MX missile. No more you whining on the charts climbing as I make the phone kicking out more harder than a nine. And if you didn't know who's rhyming, I guess well, let me see your hands up. Perfect time. You won't be around it. If you got flavor, throw your hands in the air. Come on. Here comes the brand new flavor in your ear. Throw your hands up. Time for new flavor in your ear. Yeah, you get new flavor in your ear. Like a brand new flavor in your ear. Come on. Greg Mack. Come on. 1,000 degrees. Hey. You'll be on your knees and you'll be burning, begging, please. Brother, freeze. Man, disputed in deep-rooted funk smoke and leaves your brains booted. Check it out. What's bad MC? With stamina like Bruce Dinner, other winner, they for MCs for dinner. You're crazy like that glue. That thing that you can outdo my 1-2 that stick like the flu. Take them down, boy. I flip, boy, all the time. Cause boys, Roger King ain't worth the time. Check it out. Like there's no competition in this rap world expedition. You come around and knock your opposition, knock them out. No blade could ever dig a grave. Both the Mac, the power pack, and black make you see back crack. And here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Back a brand new flavor. Check it out now.
Dance of life, dance of life, dance of life. Right type of move. Follow me. Right type of move. Watch this. Once again, the rumor just a launch and a topic.
As you know, every week on BPM we track down the DJs. There's no doubt about it that the Don, or one of the Dons on the jungle scene right now, is Jumping Jack Frost.
I'm Jumping Jack Frost, DJ, producer, journalist, whatever you want me to be, except for certain things that you like. When I first started, I found myself playing a selection of like funk, jazz, fusion kind of funk, hip-hop, but jazzy flavoured kind of hip-hop. And then I got into like acid house, you know what I mean, which is like a total revolution. I co-owned V and Philly Blunt Records with my partner Brian G. V is more of a jazz experimental type label, which, you know, we could put out a tune at 80 BPMs tomorrow and be quite happy with it. Philly Blunt is more of a reggae, but still keeping the very high quality, like, choice of music that we put out on it. But that's more of a mainstream kind of what's happening now label, you know? At the moment, I'm starting working an album, you know what I mean? Which is like a mixture of different kind of styles. I do a radio show on Kiss, you know what I mean? I call it the Circumference, which is like, means a circle. And it's the whole, it's like, I'm just bringing that to the studio, do you know what I'm saying? Even though I've always been at the forefront of the scene, I've always been in the background as well, you know? I've never really been the DJ or the person, and I've really always been happy that way.
We're stomping now. Jumping, 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 mate. Rampage group, step on the grave. Jumping, 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 mate. Mike Anthony with the drums and bass. Hey, as we flag. Are you ready for the bass line?
Gangsters. Gangsters.
Hey!
Gangsters.
And quite the gun smoke in the place.
Gangsters. Gangsters. As far back as I can remember.
And quite the gun smoke in the place. The original gangster. Hey! Oh my gosh! With the massive take your time! Yes, yes. All original gangster man, big up in chest. Original sweet boy, myself the Steps MC.
Gangsters. 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 As far far back as I can
Yes, Gunsmoke's running up front.
I always wanted to be a gangster.
Are you ready for the bass line? That's right, Black Derek. Hit the plate. Oh my God.
Well, come on, it can't be all work and no play, even though I'm not very good at this. German-born techno king Westbam releases his new album called Bam Bam Bam. He describes it as a self-portrait, taking in the musical influences that make up the Westbam wall of sound. He flew in recently from Berlin to talk about the new single Wizard of the Sonic and much more.
Westbam in the London fog. I was about 17. I was standing in a club. They were playing like new wave electronic dance music, like Cabaret Voltaire and Fat Gadget, really weird stuff of the time, or Yellow. And I was standing there and I was thinking, yeah, I want to do somehow music like that, and somehow I want to put it on myself as well. Imagine Germany about 10 years ago when we started our label. There was no like German dance scene. There was no, especially not on the independent level. You know, at the time on the independent level it was just rock and roll, and like on the major level dance music was like more commercial thing. So we had to start our own label basically to do our music. We didn't have a very clear idea. I mean, 10 years ago there was no house music around and nothing, you know. So our basic idea was some kind of a universal DJ music thing, and that's what it's still today. People think we're just doing like this fast kind of melodious German techno music, which is just, I mean, that's something that we've done, but it's just one little thing out of such a range. For some years, the English wouldn't listen to so much continental European techno music anyway, I would say. You know, there's been like on the one hand the garage scene, and on the other hand the breakbeat jungle scene here, very strong, I guess, and in between this whole, all the European stuff has been maybe a bit ignored for some years, you know. And that's why I think, you know, people, you know, don't know what we have been up to for some time, you know. So the Sonic is really about my habit of playing video games and my habit to play records. Started Mayday in 91, the first one in winter 91. It was at the time the biggest techno event in Germany. At that time that was about 5,000 people in one hall. Now it has been really growing. We do it 2 times a year. Most of the time it has been always Berlin, and then in spring it has been Dortmund. The last one was like a week ago in Dortmund, and it was like 25,000 people. These days, this is really popular. What we try to do is get artists from all over the world, you know, the most interesting DJ artists and live acts together in one night, you know, and have the most upfront kind of techno event. It seems to me that especially the generations that really don't have anything to celebrate, they celebrate the most. Been a DJ for 12 years. I'm quite happy these days that people take the DJ serious, and that people come to listen to a DJ. You know, that people take a DJ as an important figure, you know. I completely agree. I'm happy about that. I'm just not happy if it slows down the whole thing by just people just looking, thinking, oh, there's this famous person now. You know, that's where it gets really boring, you know. I don't like too much to jump about and, you know, throw a show, because I feel like the basic idea about a DJ playing is not to have this kind of stage situation where everybody's looking up to a guy putting 2 records on all the time. it doesn't make sense to me. I think the idea of the DJ thing is to make like to have the artist somewhere on stage maybe, but still the real stage is the dance floor.
So that's it for another edition of BPM. Hope you enjoyed it. Our thanks to Jim Phipps and all the Leisure Lounge crew.
But before we go, we must just mention the two Bobs from Hull who got married on the morning of the recent tribal gathering bash in Oxford. Congratulations, guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I'm sure they did. Join us for BPM next week when we come from the Bug Club in Dingwall's Camden Lock in London. It's put together by the Drum Club boys and features headliner Fabio Paras. And so until then, have a great weekend. See ya.
See ya.
Right over them. Rampage, you're gonna get the pumping, face in your face. Rampage, shoes coming on the case. Come on, there go with the phone. My DJ's gonna make you feel like water. Gonna get you hyper. My DJ's a wicked selector. Baseline. Hey! Yes. Are you ready for the monkeys? Are you ready? And tight black day. Original Rampage. See? Are you ready for the bass line? Sounds of the Rampage. And tight the nasty man in the side.
Everyone we meet.
Are you ready for the bass line? Hey. Sounds of the Rampage. Are you ready?